There are moments in life when the winds rise, the skies darken, and the waves of uncertainty roar against the shores of your peace. In those moments, the timid heart trembles, the anxious mind doubts, and the fearful soul forgets the command it carries. Yet within you lies a divine voice, a sacred authority that was never meant to whisper to storms, but to command them. When you speak with faith, when you speak with the consciousness of divine power, the very elements of life bow in obedience. The storm is not your master. It is your mirror, reflecting the strength or the weakness of your inner decree. Speak to it, and it will calm, for it recognizes the authority of one who knows their divine source. Every word you speak carries energy. Every thought you hold molds reality. The words of fear create confusion, but the words of faith create order. When you say, "Peace, be still," you are not merely repeating ancient words. You are invoking the eternal law that governs harmony. The outer storm is but a projection of the inner one. When you command peace within, peace without must follow. Divine authority does not plead, it declares. It does not question, it knows. It does not shrink in the face of trouble, it expands, radiates, and transforms chaos into calmness. The calm you seek is not waiting outside of you, it is released through the authority of your faith-filled voice. Understand this, every storm that enters your life is not there to destroy you, but to awaken you. It comes to remind you of the voice you forgot you had, the authority you laid aside in fear, and the divine partnership you share with the infinite intelligence that rules all creation. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. Circumstances are at the mercy of your inner command. The moment you align your thought with divine truth, every wave must flatten, every thunder must fade, every fear must surrender. The universe responds to the language of certainty. Speak with it. Feel it, know it. The storm cannot resist one who speaks from divine consciousness. The power of divine authority lies within you. Your words are not mere sounds, but vibrations that command the universe. Every individual carries within themselves a sacred force, a spiritual current that connects them to the infinite intelligence that governs all creation. This divine authority is not something earned or bestowed by others, it is an inherent part of your being. When you speak, you are not simply forming words through sound, you are releasing energy that shapes the world around you. Your words are the vehicles of divine intention, and when they are spoken with faith, conviction, and understanding, they become commands that the universe must obey. The great secret is realizing that your speech is creative power in motion. It can construct or destroy, calm or create storms, depending on the consciousness from which it flows. Every syllable you utter vibrates through the fabric of existence, influencing matter, emotion, and circumstance. The moment you awaken to this truth, your speech transforms from ordinary expression into divine decree. When you speak from a place of divine awareness, you are aligning yourself with the same power that formed the stars, calmed the seas, and breathed life into being. The universe does not respond to your words alone, it responds to the energy behind them. Words spoken with fear produce resistance, but words spoken with divine confidence produce results. This is why faith is the foundation of authority. Faith does not beg, it knows. It does not ask the universe for permission. It directs the universe through the law of divine harmony. When you declare peace, healing, or success with unwavering faith, you are commanding divine law to express itself through your life. The command does not come from the ego, but from the spirit, the part of you that is one with infinite intelligence. That spiritual oneness gives your words weight, meaning, and vibration that transcends the limitations of human reasoning. The storms of life often arise to test whether you will speak as a victim or as a master. Many face their challenges by describing them, speaking about the storm, instead of speaking to it. When you complain, you reinforce the storm's power. When you command, you release divine order into it. The energy that animates your words is creative, not reactive. It carries the signature of divine authority, and it manifests according to the strength of your belief. The wise soul understands that every spoken word must be rooted in awareness of divine unity. This awareness gives your declarations the power to dissolve fear, calm confusion, and bring clarity where there was once chaos. The universe does not resist you, it mirrors you. When you speak from truth, truth is reflected. When you speak from peace, peace appears. The realization that your words are divine vibrations should awaken deep reverence for speech itself. You begin to choose your words carefully, not out of fear, but out of understanding that you are shaping the unseen. Every affirmation, every declaration, every silent prayer is an act of creation. The authority within you does not depend on position, status, or knowledge. It depends on recognition. The moment you recognize that the divine power that governs the cosmos also speaks through you, your words become living forces. To speak with divine authority is to know that you and the Source are one, that every command made in faith carries the echo of the infinite, and that nothing in existence can resist the vibration of a word spoken in the consciousness of divine truth. Every storm, whether external or internal, responds to faith-infused speech, not fear-filled silence. Life is filled with moments that test the strength of your spirit. Sudden changes, disappointments, and challenges that rise like waves against the calm sea of your peace. In those moments, the natural instinct of the mind is to panic, to retreat into silence, to allow fear to dictate the outcome. Yet silence born of fear holds no power, for it is an absence of faith, a surrender to uncertainty. The forces of life do not respond to passivity, they respond to the vibration of conviction. The storm represents any disturbance that shakes your inner balance, and it has no power of its own except what you grant it through your reaction. When you speak words of faith, you release a vibration that pierces through confusion and brings order to chaos. Fearful silence strengthens the storm, but faith-filled words dissolve its illusion of power. The moment you speak with spiritual certainty, the turbulence begins to yield to the authority of divine command. The truth is that storms are not external enemies. They are mirrors reflecting the turbulence within. When fear rises, the mind trembles and the emotions follow. But when faith speaks, calmness takes hold and the storm loses its grip. Faith-infused speech is not about loudness or force. It is about the consciousness behind the word. It carries the energy of certainty that comes from knowing the divine power that flows through you is greater than any obstacle before you. You do not need to scream at your storm. You need only speak from the awareness that you are aligned with the infinite intelligence that governs all things. This is why prayer, affirmation, and spiritual declaration work, not because they manipulate reality, but because they awaken the inner authority that commands it. When you say, "Peace, be still," you are not pleading for calm. You are asserting the spiritual order that already exists beyond appearances. Fearful silence, on the other hand, allows the storm to grow louder because it represents a retreat from your spiritual identity. Silence rooted in fear is a form of agreement with chaos, a passive admission that the storm is greater than your authority. But when your silence is born of faith, it is powerful. It is the stillness of knowing that divine law is already working. The difference lies in the energy of awareness. Faith transforms every word into a decree of power, while fear drains every thought of strength. The storm does not respond to the timid or uncertain. It responds to the one who stands in truth, whose speech is infused with the vibration of divine confidence. When faith speaks, the universe listens, for faith is the language of creation. The moment you speak faith into your storm, you begin to shift its energy. What once seemed uncontrollable becomes responsive, and what once appeared threatening becomes an instrument for growth. The storm that once terrified you becomes the stage on which your authority is revealed. Faith-infused speech is the bridge between divine power and human experience. It is how invisible truth becomes visible peace. Every storm, no matter how violent, must yield to the authority of divine consciousness expressed through your words. When you speak with unwavering faith, the storm cannot remain. It must obey the command of divine authority that flows through you. For creation itself is structured to respond to faith, not fear. Calmness is born the moment you recognize your union with divine intelligence. Your authority comes from that oneness. Within every human being exists a silent center of peace, an eternal connection to the divine mind that governs all creation. This connection is not something that must be achieved or earned. It is already present, waiting to be acknowledged. The turbulence of life often distracts the mind from this truth. People search for peace outside themselves, in possessions, relationships, or achievements. Yet true calm is born not from the external, but from the recognition of internal unity with the divine. When you realize that the same intelligence that moves the stars, forms the oceans, and orchestrates the rhythm of nature also lives within you, fear begins to dissolve. You understand that life is not happening to you. It is happening through you. The storms of life lose their ability to intimidate you because you know you are part of the very power that can command them into stillness. To recognize your oneness with divine intelligence is to awaken to your spiritual identity. It is to shift from the belief that you are a separate being, vulnerable and powerless, to the knowing that you are an expression of infinite wisdom. This recognition brings a profound sense of calm because it aligns your consciousness with divine order. When the mind is anchored in divine awareness, no outer circumstance can shake it. The winds may blow, the waves may rise, but within, there is an unshakable peace that cannot be disturbed. This calmness is not indifference, it is strength. It is the stillness that comes from trust, the serenity that flows from faith. You no longer try to control life by force, for you understand that divine intelligence operates with perfect harmony. Your task is not to fight the storm, but to align with the wisdom that can calm it. The authority you possess is not human dominance, it is divine partnership. It flows naturally when you are attuned to the infinite. Just as a branch draws power from the tree, you draw strength and calm from your connection with divine intelligence. The moment you forget this connection, fear takes over, and you feel lost in the storm. But the instant you return to awareness, through prayer, meditation, or simple remembrance, peace begins to rise within you like the dawn after a long night. Divine intelligence is not distant. It is your very life, your breath, your consciousness. When you recognize this truth, your words gain power, your thoughts gain clarity, and your emotions regain balance. You begin to move through life with quiet authority, knowing that divine wisdom is always guiding you. Every challenge becomes an invitation to return to this oneness. Every storm becomes an opportunity to remember who you are. Calmness is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of divine awareness. When you are conscious of your union with divine intelligence, you cease to react from fear and begin to respond from wisdom. This inner union empowers you to speak peace into any storm, not because you wish it, but because you embody it. You become the calm that others seek, the stillness that transforms chaos, the vessel through which divine order flows. True authority is born in this recognition, that you and the divine are not two separate forces, but one eternal presence expressing itself through the calm command of faith. Speaking to the storm is not denying its presence, but asserting your dominion over it through spiritual consciousness. There is a profound difference between denial and dominion. Denial ignores the problem and pretends the storm does not exist, while dominion faces it with awareness of higher power. To deny a storm is to live in illusion, but to command it is to live in truth. The truth is that storms will always come. Moments of challenge, uncertainty, and fear are part of life's rhythm. Yet, when they arise, you are not meant to hide or collapse under their pressure. You are meant to stand as a conscious expression of divine order, declaring your authority over disorder. Spiritual consciousness does not deny the waves, it recognizes that within you resides the power to calm them. When you speak from this awareness, your words carry divine resonance, and the storm begins to yield. This is not magic, but law. The law that spirit is greater than matter, that faith transcends fear, that divine truth governs even the fiercest winds of circumstance. To assert dominion through spiritual consciousness is to see beyond appearances. The storm may look powerful, but it is only a shadow compared to the light of divine reality. Your role is not to fear the storm's noise, but to speak the language of peace until the noise dissolves into harmony. When you say, "Be still," it is not a desperate plea, but a declaration rooted in spiritual authority. You are calling forth the divine order that already exists beneath the surface of chaos. This consciousness does not come from ego or pride. It comes from humility, the understanding that you are one with the infinite intelligence that controls all life. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and words with that intelligence, your dominion over the storm is inevitable. You cannot command what you fear. You can only command what you understand as part of your spiritual dominion. That understanding is the bridge between divine truth and physical reality. To speak to the storm means you refuse to give it more power than it deserves. You acknowledge its existence, but you do not submit to it. You declare your authority not over nature, but over the illusion of limitation. The storm represents fear, confusion, and chaos, forces that can only thrive in the absence of faith. When faith is present, those forces lose strength. Speaking to the storm with spiritual consciousness means using your words as tools of alignment. You affirm peace not to escape reality, but to reveal it. The highest reality is divine order, and when you speak from that truth, the lower vibration of chaos must dissolve. The more deeply you know your connection to divine power, the more naturally your words carry the vibration of calmness, strength, and certainty. Dominion is not domination, it is mastery through understanding. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing divine power flows through you. When you speak from this awareness, your words are not reactionary. They are creative, transformative healing. You begin to realize that the outer world mirrors your inner state, and as you speak peace from within, peace begins to manifest without. The storm responds because it recognizes divine authority expressed through human consciousness. When you speak to the storm, you are not trying to overpower it. You are reminding it of its place under divine law. The moment your inner awareness stands firm in truth, the storm must calm, for it cannot resist the vibration of divine order spoken through the voice of faith. The language of divine authority is confidence, gratitude, and unwavering belief, spoken as though the outcome already exists. The words that carry true power are not those filled with doubt or hesitation, but those that flow from deep conviction. Confidence in divine authority is not arrogance. It is trust in the eternal law that governs all things. When you speak with spiritual confidence, you align your vibration with the creative force of the universe. Every word becomes a declaration of certainty, not because you see the result, but because you know it already exists in the invisible realm of divine order. This is the essence of faith, to speak from completion, not from need. Gratitude amplifies this power, for gratitude acknowledges that the blessing is already yours. The moment you give thanks for what you seek, you signal to the universe that you have already received it in spirit, and therefore it must appear in form. Unwavering belief seals this process. It is the unshakable trust that divine intelligence never fails, that the law of creation always responds to faith-filled words. To speak the language of divine authority means to use words that carry the vibration of fulfillment, not longing. Many people speak about their desires as if they are distant, unattainable, or uncertain. They plead, they hope, but they do not declare. Divine speech, however, is not begging, it is commanding from alignment. When you say, "I am healed, I am guided," or "peace surrounds me now," you are not pretending, you are affirming truth from the higher dimension of reality. The universe is not moved by emotion alone, it is moved by certainty. When your words are saturated with confidence, they carry the energy of divine decree, and creation must respond in harmony. Confidence in this sense is not a product of ego, but of awareness. The awareness that you are one with infinite intelligence, that divine power works through your consciousness. Gratitude adds depth to your speech because it transforms your state of being. When you express gratitude for something not yet visible, you lift your consciousness above limitation. You begin to feel as though the blessing is already present, and this feeling is the magnet that draws it into form. Gratitude is faith in motion. It transforms prayer into realization. Each word of thanks opens the channel for divine flow. When you say, "Thank you, divine intelligence, for this healing," or "Thank you for this peace that fills my heart," you activate the law of abundance through recognition. The universe mirrors your internal state, and gratitude keeps your vibration aligned with receiving. Unwavering belief is the sustaining force behind divine speech. It keeps your confidence steady when appearances try to deceive you. The mind may see obstacles, but belief holds to truth. You continue to speak from faith even when evidence seems absent, for you know that spiritual reality precedes physical manifestation. The language of divine authority never doubts its own command. It speaks as if the outcome is already done. In this consciousness there is no struggle, no pleading, no uncertainty. Only the serene assurance that what is spoken in faith is already fulfilled. This is the speech that calms storms, moves mountains, and opens doors, for it carries the vibration of divine certainty, the voice of creation itself, expressed through the confident, grateful, and unwavering soul. The true miracle happens when your words align with divine law. When faith replaces doubt and peace replaces panic. The entire universe is governed by spiritual laws, unseen yet absolute, constant in their precision and infinite in their power. These laws respond not to emotion or desperation, but to alignment. Every thought, every word, every feeling carries a vibration that either harmonizes with divine order or disrupts it. When you speak words of faith, you align yourself with the highest frequency of truth. When your words are filled with doubt, you oppose the flow of divine intelligence. The miracle, therefore, is not in the external change itself, but in the inner alignment that produces it. The moment your consciousness moves from fear to faith, from tension to trust, from confusion to clarity, the outer world begins to shift accordingly. Miracles are simply divine order revealed through faith. They are not accidents, nor are they exceptions to the law. They are the natural result of spiritual harmony expressed through word and belief. Every word spoken with faith carries within it a seed of transformation. It vibrates with the energy of creation, and this vibration begins to organize conditions in the physical world to reflect the inner truth you have affirmed. The alignment with divine law is not about trying to force outcomes. It is about understanding that your role is to speak truth and allow the universe to manifest it in perfect time. The moment you release control and trust divine wisdom, your words gain power because they are no longer burdened by human resistance. Faith opens the channel through which divine power flows effortlessly. Doubt, however, blocks that channel. It creates static in the spiritual current, weakening the signal between your word and the divine law that fulfills it. This is why peace is so essential. When your heart is at peace, your words are clear, and clarity is the bridge to manifestation. Panic scatters energy, peace focuses it. Faith unites your mind with divine will, while fear fragments it. To align your words with divine law means to speak from the awareness that divine intelligence already knows the path of fulfillment. You do not need to instruct it. You simply declare truth and trust that the universe will respond. Your responsibility is to maintain faith and peace. These two qualities magnetize divine action. The moment your words and emotions become harmonious with truth, the miracle begins to unfold, often in ways beyond human understanding. The mind may not grasp how, but the heart knows it is already done. This is the secret of divine alignment. Results do not come from struggle, but from surrender, from allowing divine intelligence to operate freely through the vessel of faith-filled speech. As faith replaces doubt, the energy of your words changes entirely. They no longer carry the vibration of lack or fear, but radiate the power of certainty. Peace then becomes the atmosphere through which miracles are born. When your inner state reflects divine harmony, the outer world cannot resist transformation. The storm must calm, the confusion must clear, and the manifestation must appear. It is never the size of your words that creates miracles, but the alignment behind them. When you speak from the consciousness of divine law, knowing that faith and peace are the very language of creation, every word becomes a command that reshapes reality. This is the moment of true miracle, where human limitation yields to divine order, and the unseen power of faith turns silence into manifestation and chaos into calm.